So for question number one thing I noticed was how it was interesting how Elliot would mention his girlfriend Stephanie, but we never actually got to meet her as a character in the play, and she was only pretty vaguely mentioned, so I thought that was kind of weird. And then I thought it was meaningful how the family passed the flute down through generations in the military as a source of, like, I guess, peace in the war within the platoons. For question number two, one value that I picked up on was that music was extremely important to these family members and other members in the army, and it was a means of bringing everyone together. And so, for example, on an 8 prelude, Grandpa was talking about how his platoon fell in love with Bach, and they would beg him to take the flute out and play music because he said it's very soothing after the bombs settle down. And it suggests that behind these tough men were people that needed a peace of mind, and they enjoyed classical music as a means of tranquility. Second value was that going to war was something that you do not just for your country, but as a way to serve your family and bring honor to them. And so, for example, on the radio show, when Elliot was asked if he joined the army because he loves America, he said the main reason he did it was for his dad. And it suggests that joining the army meant more than just the uniform. It was a means of staying close and honoring your family. For question number three, I looked up trench foot. I wanted to get a clear depiction of what it was. And it's a medical condition caused by prolonged exposure of the feet to damp, unsanitary, and cold conditions. And this term was coined during World War I when trench warfare was really popular. And it gives me a clear understanding of what Elliot must have been experiencing, and I can connect this to the details of the wars that Pops and Grandpops fought in. Pops always had a hard time talking about his experiences, and it may be because he went through the same thing as Elliot. And so for question number four, I thought the American soldier was depicted as someone who was really brave and tough, but also had a soft spot for the small things such as music, and also really loved their family. In the country they're fighting for, and that they're real and normal people like everybody else. When Grandpops was talking about how the guys in his platoon loved to hear him play the flute and help them calm down after fighting, and it reaffirms the idea that soldiers are real people, and America is a place of freedom and fun, but it also challenges the idea that soldiers are always the tough guys fighting in battle, and that America can be the bad guys during war. And for question number five, a fugue is a contrapuntal composition in which a short melody or phrase is introduced by one part and successfully taken up by others and developed into the interweaving parts. And this reflects the format of the play. So one character would interject while one character was talking and keep the phrase and text going. And I think the playwright's intentions of writing this was to bring attention to how war can affect families and the strain it can bring, but also the closeness it can provide between family members, and that's why they were all kind of saying the same thing. And then one question I had was, why do you think we never got to meet Stephanie as a character? And then my second question is, do you think Pops was worried about his son experiencing the same things, or why do you think it was so hard for Pops to share his own stories?